Alright, so welcome back, and today we're going to be putting on our upper end. You'll see me put the pistons on, I'll put the cylinders on, and then I've got brand new old stock heads that I'm going to open up and put on them. And I guess let's get at it. First things first is your needle bearings. Whenever you're putting these in, it's always good to get new ones of these because they're relatively inexpensive and honestly cheap insurance, because one of these goes bad and the rest of the engine is just going to follow it. So right now I'm just oiling it. And we're going to put it in our rod. And it seems like it's a little loose, but once you put the pin in, it'll push the rollers out. So here I've got my new piston. You saw me assemble that. That was close. I've got the wrist pin pushed in just to the edge here, and so you can see there's an arrow. The arrow goes towards the front of the engine. And this is kind of a tricky part. So bad. But now for the relief. We have to put that circlip in. So you're gonna wanna push your wrist pin all the way up as far as it'll go till it hits that other circlip that we put in. And you're going to wanna take a rag and cover the bottom of your engine because it'll go in there. We'll have it up. Sometimes it's easier if you can pull them down and then they'll rest on the bottom of the crankcase here and won't rotate like this, but this flange is going to be in the way. So we're going up. You just want to make sure that that little clip can't fall down in there. A new one. Okay. Just going to set it like that. This is how I found it's best to do it. You see it pop out like that? That was close. There we go. You'll feel it clip in. I don't know if you could hear that, it kind of just snapped in. So that one's in. He's not going anywhere. It'll wiggle like this, but you should be able to pull it up and, if you pull it up and down, there really shouldn't be any play in that at all. Okay, so that's it for our mag side. Let's go to the PTO side. So flip this around. And I set these up so that way I could push the wrist pins in from the outside and put the circlips in from the outside. Getting ahead of myself. this guy. Same deal. Just a little 2-stroke oil. Get him ready to go. Okay, here's my brand new piston. Maybe it'll be easier if it's up. Yeah. There it goes. I just have this little 10mm socket I use to push it in and get it to seat. Just anything that's nice and round like this. Not round like this, but round so you don't have nice sharp edges on it. Just to push it in there. And same thing, the next circlip. It is easier if you can plan out your engine build that you're working on the outside of these, because it's not fun trying to work through these studs there. Put this guy there. Oh, I just dropped him. Good thing we had that there. I just pulled it right out. Suppose you can see what I'm doing. Kind of holding it here with my finger, just right at the top, because most of the flexing action comes from the bottom. And he's in. That one was really easy. Let's take and push his top in. There you go. Just want to make sure he's set. And again, we can lift him up and down. There's no movement, no play there. All right. So now on to the base gaskets. I'm going to, let's see, we'll keep the front of the engine this way. I'm going to put more Yamabond number 4 just around the bottom of the base gaskets, just to keep them in place. I'd hate to have them squish out when I put the cylinders on, and I don't know, peace of mind really for me. And again, you don't want a lot. Just enough to keep them from going anywhere. And another thing I forgot to mention with this Yamabond is it's gasoline resistant. That's super important here. Versus your regular RTV, the red or even the black stuff that's supposed to be oil resistant still can't hold up to gas, which in an engine like this, they'll just eat it right up. Alright, that's that side. So we'll put his gasket on here. I've got a whole new set sitting right here. And he just drops on like so. Okay, we'll rotate. It is kind of tricky. You want to be sure not to, try not to smack and get sealant on your pistons like I just did. Okay. Well, maybe we should go put his cylinder on. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to lube up the top here, the rings, kind of get them lined up. And so normally on an engine you've got a ring compressor, but for these they go in the bottom and you just squeeze the rings as they're going in. Got more sealant on this side too. So this is our Pto cylinder. He looks clean. So we're just going to take and drop him on there. And this part can kind of get tricky, so I'm going to flip them around actually. Okay, so as he's going down, we're going to, you can see our pins here. We're going to line up the first one. Sometimes this is really tricky. And you got to get them so tight to get in there. I got a little crazy with that Yabum bond here. It's getting on the edge, so I'm just wiping that off. I really didn't think I put that much on. So I guess we'll take and rotate this down. He's kind of at the bottom of the stroke. So you can push into something. Okay. The hard part is getting it to go in straight. like I said, there's no ring compressors for this, so you're just taking your fingers and oh, see, I didn't have the pins lined up, so no way that was ever gonna go in there. Here we go. Got that first one on. And there goes the second one. There you go. You can see once you get it. And that's seated. Alright. There's one down. Alright. So for the next one, I'll spin them around. That looks pretty. I'm just going to lube up the cylinder with some oil. Keep them down. And I guess I'll put some more Yamavon on this side. Kind of debating whether or not I want to now though. But yeah, we will. Just that ever so little bit. I'll be extra careful not to get it in the piston skirt area again. Oh, that was a big gap. And again, it just needs to be enough to make contact. I think that's what I had wrong before, was I put a decent amount on. It's not the first time, won't be the last. Okay, then we have base gasket. He's all the way down. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're ready for cylinder number 1. You can see it kind of wants to squish that other one up. Okay, I'm ready for this side. Same stuff, except now they're on my side. And this can get a little more tricky since I did the other side first. Oh, I didn't oil it. I'm gonna oil those rings. There we go. Alright. Clean cylinder as well. This is tricky. My fingers are too big for this. So, when you build your engine, note to self, do the Pto cylinder second. And right now what we're fighting is it's just kind of difficult to line up. Come on, why won't you drop? There we go. So now we got our second ring out. And we don't want to lose the first one. Okay. Once you get that first ring in, its second one comes a lot easier. You're already straight in the bore. There we go. And we just, oh, there we go. And he's down home too. So I'm just going to take and move both cylinders to about the middle of the piston, that way all the ports are closed. I'll squirt a little bit of two-stroke oil in the top end, right around the rings. Once we get this together, we'll cycle them through and rotate. Yeah. Alright, so now I have some new old stock heads that I'll be opening up for this engine. Okay. Styrofoam. New head. That's nice looking. That's cool how the bag even says Kawasaki on it. Sorry about that. Okay, so I've got my head gasket prepped already. These are copper head gaskets, and I've already sprayed them with a copper spray. And they fit in this groove right in the top. We will take and install our head. Not much more to it. You do want to be careful on these copper things that you don't touch the surface, because that's what's sealing. Excuse me. Alright. We'll put this one on too. Okay. Now it's time for our hardware. I put this one on backwards. This part's supposed to be over here. Yep. So there we go. That looks better. The cooling fins are facing the right way now too. Other than that, so before we go and tighten these down, we're going to install the exhaust manifold just to get our cylinders to line up. We're not going to torque them down or put any gaskets on right now because we're not to that point yet, but what we want to do is make sure that our cylinders are straight with each other. Otherwise, what will happen is you can have one that's kind of facing this way and the other one facing that way, and they can be off. Well, these gasket surfaces won't be flush with each other. And then when you put your engine together, if you've got your head bolts torqued down already, they can't rotate. So you end up with leaking gaskets here. So all we're going to do is use it basically as a jig, just to hold it straight. And these are 13mm bolts. That's one weird thing. Well, it's not weird, it's a Japanese engine. But that's one thing working on these engines that I've really had to get used to, is everything is metric. Which, me being in America, is, it's slightly different. It's not bad or worse. Here it is. And we're just gonna get them snug. Oh, I can just see it kind of pulled one of the cylinders, which is good. That's what we want it to do. It's lining it up. There we go. Alright, now we can continue on with the rest of our stuff. I just wanted to get that out of the way before I got overexcited and forgot to do it. These are just, so on top of these you'll have, it's a big washer, a little lock washer, and then your nut goes on top. Except these two studs get these little, I don't know how to describe them exactly. They're just like longer nuts to hold them on, because you'll have two bolts that go on top here to hold your cooling shroud on. Sheet here. I guess I'll take a picture of this and put it in the video, but it says cylinder head to be 16 foot-pounds. we'll set our torque wrench up to 16. And 16. Alright, there's really no torque sequence for these, it's just the crisscross pattern still. Alright, and once we take this off, that will be the end of our upper end. I won't make you guys watch that, but now I'm just going to put 2 new spark plugs in there, just to plug the hole so that way nothing else falls down in there. But that's pretty much it. That's your upper end. Next is going to be putting this cooling tower on and getting all of that ready to go. And then we'll probably put the gaskets and shrouds on it next too. So hang tight for that. Thanks for watching.